Hello, it's Jim Hutchins for the Jerusalem Connection Spot Report for this week. Today I want to enter into a debate, and in doing so I'm entering in where angels fear to tread. This is an ongoing debate primarily within the Messianic Jewish community. Gentiles are involved to some extent, but it has to do with to what extent, if any, Gentiles are to keep the law. Christians, Gentile believers in Jesus, are they to keep the Torah? And at the outset, I think the distinctions are faulty. I think that those distinctions that man has made are not found in the Scriptures. Matter of fact, the Scriptures treat us all the same, Jews and Gentiles. In Galatians chapter 3, verse 25, 26, God says, "You are all sons of God through faith in Messiah Jesus. For all of you who were baptized into Messiah have clothed yourselves with the Messiah. There's neither Jew nor Greek, slave nor free, male nor female, for you are all one in Messiah Jesus. If you belong to Messiah, then you are Abraham's seed and you are heirs according to the promise." Now the question is, if we're all equal, and there can hardly be a debate concerning that. As a matter of fact, in Ephesians chapter 2, when it speaks of the one new man, it talks about us coming into the citizenship of Israel. Believers are considered scripturally to be a part of the Israel of God. Where's the church come in? Well, that's time for another subject. I digress. But as far as believers are concerned, we're considered a part of the Israel of God. And to what extent are we to keep the law? Well, the new covenant, I think, is very significant at this point. The new covenant's given to us in Jeremiah 31:31. It's elaborated on in Hebrews 8. In Jeremiah 31:33, it says this: "This is the covenant I will make with the house of Israel, says Yahweh. I will put my law in their minds, and I will write it on their hearts." Now that is a profoundly significant statement. Why? Because you have to look at who is the initiator. God is the initiator. He's the one that does this. He's the one that internalizes His law and writes it on our hearts. That's something that only He can do. We can read the law and say, well, I want to do this, but we're very selective in what we keep and what we don't keep. But God says, I'm going to immerse you in it. I'm going to put it in your minds. I'm going to write it on your hearts. My people. And as we speak, He is now downloading His mind to our mind. The laws He's putting in our mind. We're told that we have the mind of the Messiah, and that's ongoing. So I think it's very significant that we keep this in mind. There's no distinction between believers as far as the Scriptures are concerned. There are great distinctions when it comes to those who embellish the Scriptures, whether they're Jewish rabbis or Christian theologians. But as far as the Scriptures are concerned, there's only one who ultimately fulfilled all the law. That's our Messiah, our substitute. Matthew chapter 5, verse 17, "Do not think," Jesus says, "do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I've not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them." He's the only one in the history of humankind that can say that. None of us have, but we have one who has done it for us. And so we're considered all to be on the same level as far as our relationship to God through Jesus. And we're considered to be those who have received the grace gift of God's implanting, God's putting His law in our mind and writing it on our hearts. That's up to Him. That's His initiative. And He tells us in Romans chapter 8 that those who walk by means of the Spirit fulfill the just requirements of the law. He also says this. In 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 20, he says, no matter how many promises God has made, they're all yes in Jesus. That's good news, right? Say yes. Till next week, Od Ki Yavo Shiloh, or until Messiah comes, Yivareka Yahweh. God bless.